We're going to talk about vertical angles, and what I mean by that is if you have two lines that cross, so these are lines, a vertical angle is, if we label them A, B, C, and D, so vertical angles are angles that are essentially across from each other. And so the measurement of angle A is going to be the same as the measurement of angle C. Those are vertical angles from one another. So the way that we write angle is like that. So angle A equals angle C. So if angle A was a measurement of 60 degrees, then angle C would be a measurement of 60 degrees. They're always going to be equal. If you have two lines that cross, angles that are across from each other are always the same measurement. So we call them equal. So we also have angle B and angle D. They are the same measurement as well. Now here's one thing that you may get asked on the test is, remember in the video that's about geometry, some basic geometry terms, we talked about supplementary angles. Supplementary angles equal, when you add them up, they equal 180 degrees. The line is 180 degrees. So if this angle is 60 degrees, then angle B has to be 120 degrees, because A plus B has to equal 180. They have to be supplementary, because the measurement on a line from one side of the line to the other always equals 180. So now we know angle B is 120 degrees, so angle D also has to be 120 degrees. So if you have two lines that cross each other and they give you the angle for, or the measurement for one of the angles, you can figure out the answer for all of the other angles as well. So just to reinforce that, we have two lines. Angle B is 140 degrees. Angle D is going to be 140 degrees because these are always going to be equal. Angle A has to be 40 degrees because for this line to go all the way over here, it has to be 180 degrees. Since this is 140, this has to be 40. It's going to be the same here, right? Because if you go from here to here, it has to be 180. If that was 140, then this has to be 40. If this is 40, then angle C is also 40 degrees. Something a little bit more complicated, but it's the same idea, is if you have two parallel lines. So I'm not going to be able to draw that exactly, but you have two lines that are parallel. Parallel means that they will never intersect. It's kind of like the two lines on the side of a road. They're always going to be across from each other. They will never intersect. So if you have two parallel lines and you intersect them with another line, I'm going to label these angles again: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. So here we have this line that goes through two parallel lines. We're going to use the same concept of vertical angles. So here we have angle A, we'll say, is 120 degrees. What do we know angle C must be? It has to be 120 degrees, because here we have two lines that cross each other. Vertical angles, they're going to be the same. We know that angle D, if this is 120 degrees, then angle D is going to have to be 60 degrees, because these two, when you add them up, it has to equal 180. If this is 60, we know angle B has to be 60 degrees too. So this is what we did before. But now we can also generate information about these angles down here. So now, as long as these two lines are parallel, and that is of critical importance, now we have cross angles. So angle D and angle F are going to be the same as well. So if angle D is 60, angle F is 60 degrees. And that's really all we need to know. We just need to know one angle, right, when we have two crossing lines. So if angle F is 60, angle H is 60, angle E has to be 120 because these two have to equal each other. But also look at these two are going to be the same two. And then we know G has to be 120 because 60 and 120 equal 180. So if you have two parallel lines, then you're going to have angle A is going to equal angle C, which we already knew from before, but you can also cross over, is going to equal angle E, which equals angle G. Angle B is going to equal angle D because of vertical angles, but you cross over, so that's going to equal angle F, which also equals angle H. So if you're given one of these, you can pretty much figure out the rest of them, and that could be a question. So let's do one more example. They give you two parallel lines. We'll go this way. A, B, C, D, E, F, F, G, H. And they say angle, so the symbol for angle C equals 50 degrees. What is angle H? So what's this angle? Well, we know this equals 50. So by crossing, we know angle E has to also equal 50. And we know that this has to equal up to 180 because we have a line here that have to equal, the two angles have to equal 180. So we know angle H is 130 degrees. The other way we get to that is we know that angle D has to equal 180 when added to angle C. So we know angle D is 130 degrees. We can cross, so we know angle F has to equal 130 degrees. And then with vertical angles, we know that angle H has to equal 130 as well.